Yes, guys. So another coaching series coming at you this week. This week, we're going to talk about the kipping pull-up, okay? Now, I've already done a bar muscle one, but the things that I say here will very much carry over to the chest to bar as well. But I might make an extra video this week on the actual chest to bar as an individual thing. But first thing we're going to talk about today, we're going to split it up into two parts again, is progressions towards your kipping pull-up. So the two things we need to nail before we actually get a pull-up, and then we're going to break the pull-up down, okay? Now, some of you will watch these videos and go, I've seen this a million times, but a lot of people still aren't doing the things that I'm telling you to do. So it's going to help you regardless. So first thing we're going to talk about is the kip swing. Now, we don't go through this all the time, but it's always good to know, even for people more experienced. When we are doing a kip swing, the things we are thinking about are lats are engaged the whole time. When I jump up on the rig, I don't jump up and I'm just like hanging dead. As soon as I jump up, I am locking my lats in. I am actively pushing the rig down, okay? Even though I'm not moving, I'm actively pushing down and locking in my lats, all right? In terms of tension on the rig, you've heard me talk about this a lot. We don't want to fucking flop around like a twat on the rig. Like, it's just really fucking icky to see this. Yeah, let's sort that shit out early doors. We want to make sure we're one tight unit. So I'm up onto the rig. My lats are locked in. I am pointing my toes and staying long. You can see my feet are slightly in front. From there, when it comes to the kip swing, your hollow is when we push down on the rig into this position. Your arch is when we come through into our chest. So a kip swing should be a nice tight movement like so. It should not be all floppy and too big. Your feet are either side of the rig, nice and tight, and my lats creating the movement, and I'm one solid chain throughout my body, okay? Now, the second thing that we need to nail down before we get onto a pull-up is the hip hop. Now, I know you'll hear hip hop a lot, and you'll be like, what the fuck is a hip hop? The easiest way to describe it, I've said this a million times already, but really important that we always go through it, is imagine you're doing a kettlebell swing. The kettlebell comes through. When we do that pop of the hips to drive the kettlebell up, not a thrust, we shouldn't be thrusting. When we pop up, when we do clean, snatches, anything like that, and we pop the hips up to extend and get vertical force, that is exactly what we are doing with a hip hop. It is that same snappy motion of popping the hips. So anyone who's been here for a while will have heard me say this. When we are doing pull-ups, we are not thinking pull. I know that sounds backwards, but stay with me. We are thinking pop and push. So this is the time to practice it. If I can see someone do a hip hop and I see that little bit of floatiness, I'm like, you are not far away from a pull-up. Because when we take away the thought of having to pull ourselves up like a strict pull-up and start thinking about floating up and then pulling ourselves in, these get a lot easier. So nailing down this hip hop is really crucial. So start with your kips to get yourself moving, and a hip hop is nice and simple. When I come back into that hollow, I'm just going to think pop and push, pop and push, pop and push. And it's getting that timing of, as I pop my hips, as I come back into that hollow, I pop my hips up, I push down on the rig to create that little bit of movement, and you can see I just start to float up. That's your two movements. So get your kip swing nailed down, don't flop like a dick, make sure we're nice and tight, then get the hip hop nailed down, think pop and push, and then we're ready to move on to that first pull-up.